everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and this is week 2 of Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022. This collab is hosted by the amazing Sandy Trefger, and we are making Halloween projects. So every Monday we will be posting a project that we made in a countdown for the 13 weeks before Halloween. I'm going to show you what I made today, and then I'll do the tutorial for you. I made a little folio, and this is a little different from my normal folios because there is not a cardstock base to it. I had watched a video by Kathy of KWClement and was inspired by what she made. And I started making it out the same way she did, but sort of did my own thing. And it does go fairly quick. There are 3 different sets of paper in my stash, and I am trying to use it all up so I can order more. So anyhow, this folio measures 5.5 by 7 3/4. The cover is from paper that doesn't match any collection that I have, but I mean, it does match. It didn't come with the collection, but it worked really well for a cover. So it opens up like this, and inside I have a flap. I loved the design on here. Now I fussy cut one of these skulls and the sunflowers that go with it, and then added some of the leftover paper from that cover sheet. I love the sunflowers in this creepy Halloween paper, don't you? It's just a different element. So then if you turn the page, we've got a waterfall, and I've got a magnet closure in it just to keep everything together. And the paper was really good for this. I had enough of this one pattern paper that I could use it on this front inside flap. And then inside here is that striped paper, and I did use a 3x4 cut apart on there. Now on this page I just made a side pocket. It's that sunflower paper with some moths, and then there's moths and skulls, and I just thought that matched nicely. I have a couple of cut aparts, the sheet with the bugs and moths, and then I made a little folder from another cut apart and just a leftover scrap of paper that you could put photos on. So that goes in there very nicely. Now the next page has the 2 tag pockets. The coppery piece was from another collection, but it had the moths on it, so in my mind it matched nicely. So I also added some cut aparts inside and added those circles. And I don't know if I missed something or just did it differently, but in the tutorial these were closed on the side, so I had to take a scissors and cut it open, and the top was open and I just glued it shut. So anyhow, just made it my own. That one page is a pull-out, and obviously that's the same paper as what's on the cover. And I had strips of paper left over that I used as sort of a tuck spot on the left side for the top and the right side for the bottom. And you could put a photo right on top, and that would look fabulous. And then there's a tuck spot on the bottom, so you could put a large photo on there. But that page is actually a pocket, a top-loading pocket, so this piece just slides right down in there and sits nicely. I think it's a good composition. And then this page I added a belly band. I just like the black and white stark paper. And then there's that other black and white striped paper that I added a border on top of some black cardstock. And then it opens up just like that and slides into that belly band. So we're back to the sunflower paper and moths. So that just opens up like that, and I have that side pocket I just did a corner punch on the top left corner. So there's a spot to put photos. I had some of that skeleton washi tape I have had for a long time, maybe 10 years, I don't know, forever. And then there's a pocket on that back inside cover. And I just had some paper that matched with it. I love the gold foiling on this. There's the stripes and then there's some tombstones on the bottom. Just adds a nice glittery, spooky touch. Ghastly, maybe. So then that closes up. And let me figure this out. This will close. There we go. And then the back has just a little bit of the trees and the bats. I want to find a little word to put on the bottom, like boo or something. But I haven't found it yet. I will. So that is my second project for the Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween. And if you stay tuned, I will show you the tutorial. But don't forget to check out the other people in the collab. You can check out the ones that have already been made, or if you want to make something, use hashtag Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022, and we can check out your project. So here we go for the tutorial. Just stay tuned. Alright, I'm going to start with this paper that was from my stash, as everything is, but it doesn't go with the collection that I'm using, most of the collection. This page measures 11 3/4 by 7 3/4. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and I'll turn it over, not that it matters. I wish this paper was a little bit heavier, but it will work. I'm going to score this at 5.5 and at 6 1/4. I am going to ink the edges with my black soot. Believe me, that says black soot. Just because I'm going to add another piece on top of this, and that way if some of the white shows, it's not going to be so bold. It'll be a more subtle look. I don't know why it is I always use black soot with Halloween. I mean, obviously black. But it's probably one of the few times I use black soot. I mean, usually I like a more subtle look. I'll use walnut stain. Is probably my other favorite. Alright, now that I've gotten that, I'm going to fold here. Well, I guess I don't need to. You know why? Because the hinge will cover this. But I will fold and burnish on those score lines. That'll make a nice cover, don't you think? I have one other piece of paper, so if I'm lucky I can get 2 folios out of this. Alright, now I'm going to grab a piece of black cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 7 3/4, and I'm going to score it from 1 1/4 to 3 every 1/4 inch. So 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2. Oh wait, did I need 2? I don't know. 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, and 3. I may not have needed the 2. I didn't have it written down, but we shall see. Yeah, I probably did. Alright, now I'm going to burnish on the score lines, and there's going to be 1/4 inch, and then there will be 2 hinges. I mean 2 1/4 inch, that will be a hinge. So I am folding those 1/4 inch that's going to be a hinge, pull this paper up towards me and pinch that. So I'm going to end up with 2 1/4-inch hinges. So you'll have a 1/4 inch, 2 1/4 inch that'll be a hinge, a 1/4 inch gusset, 2 1/4 inch that'll be a hinge, and another 1/4 inch. So I will turn this upside down. I have to grab my glue. And so I am in a campground right now. So if you hear noises like there's kids riding bikes and dogs barking, and there just was somebody whistling, you know, I don't mind the noises. Whoops. The only reason that it bothers me is because you guys might say, what the heck is that? But honestly, it's not a big deal. Especially love hearing people outside having fun. I grabbed this so I can put this on here. I'm going to pinch this together. And this one too. Then I will fold that down and burnish. I don't think I've ever made a 1/4 inch gusset or 1/4 inch hinge. But let's try it. It's always good to try something new. Alrighty. So now we will put this down, and I think the theory is that this 1/4 inch line will fit perfectly on our spine piece, such as it is. What appealed to me about this tutorial is the fact that you really don't have a lot of construction. I mean, there is no, I'm just making sure these 1/4 inch pieces line up. There's no mini album base, and so you can get something done fairly quickly. I think the key is that you use a heavy cardstock, and this may not be as heavy as it should, but you know what? It's going to work. I'm going to make it work. All right, I'm going to fold and burnish again to make sure that score line is on. And I can tell where, because we have the 1/4 inch score line on the hinge piece on the black. So I think that's in pretty good. Now I'm going to continue and glue down this black piece. Okay. All right, I like it. Now I need to choose pieces for the inside front cover and inside back cover. All right, so I cut 2 pieces that are from the same paper, 5 3/8 by 7 5/8. And then I cut 2 more pieces that are 7 5/8, so it's the same, but they are 5 1/2. And then I'm going to score these 1/2 inch, one on the left side, and I'm turning this one upside down, and it's end up going to be scored on the right side. So one scored on the right, one scored on the left. I'm not mitering these. I don't know if that will come back to bite me. I guess it depends on how straight I put things on. So yes, this is all double-sided paper. Let's see how it works. So I'm taking the smaller piece and we've got the fold line on the left, and I'm putting it right up against it, and I'm going to add glue to this tab. And this is where it's important that if you don't miter the corners, it's a real straight cut, or else you'll see that little tab. But I think I'm pretty good. So there's that one. And then same for this. I'm turning it upside down to make sure that I got it. Go right up against it. And I will burnish. I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges so you can tell that this is a flap. I mean, it'll just help distinguish the two pieces from each other because they are pretty much the same colors. I mean, I love this. This paper is fabulous. Look at the sunflowers with the spiders. I mean, if you love sunflowers and you love Halloween, this is a perfect paper. I've used it before. I've made a couple of mini albums. I think it was last year I had gotten the paper. Could have been the year before. And since I'm inking, I might as well do the sides. I think I need to re-ink my pad. Alright, let's pull this in. And so this one is going to go here. And this is 7 5/8 where the paper is 7 3/4, so that's why we inked around the edges, just so because there's going to be a little bit of a gap, and we are going to make sure it is centered. I want to go a little closer to the edge because I don't want to get too close to the score line on the side. Okay, so far so good. I haven't done anything silly like glue anything upside down yet, so that's good. So the same here, I don't want to go too close to that fold. Alrighty. This is where I could see that if the paper were a little more sturdy, it would probably be a little more solid. But that's okay. I'm going to continue with this. Like, I've got paper in my stash that is probably 100-pound weight, but still, it's still going to be cute. If something Halloween-y can be cute. All right, let's move on to the next step. I love this paper. It's gold, metallic designs, and it really matches nicely with that, but I need something to put over here, so I have to use the moth side on the back, which is still pretty cool. I feel like bugs. I cut two pieces, 10.5 by 3 7/8, and I will score both at 5 1/4. I have already added some score tape to the side and the bottom. I'm going to fold on our score line at the 5 1/4. And what we're going to do is take the backing off of the score tape on the side and line this up with the top. And I'm going to peel off the score tape that's on the bottom here. And add a little bit of adhesive over here. And fold and burnish. All right, there's one. Let's do the other. Peel off the backing on my score tape. Put that down against the side. So it's going to be so is this going to fit? I feel like I need to trim off just a smidgen, just so I have a little wiggle room. So I'm taking off I don't know how much that is, a 32nd of an inch. And line that up to the bottom. Peel off the backing on the score tape on the bottom of that. Add some liquid adhesive here. Oops. And then fold this. There we go. Okay. And just to complete everything, I'm going to grab my scissors, and where these two meet, I'm just going to cut down my hinge. Oops. All right. Okay, for the final page I cut two pieces. This is 5 1/4 by 7 5/8. This is 7 5/8 by 5 3/4. I'm going to score this one 1/2 inch. And I'm going to fold and burnish on that score line. I almost hate to see the inside of that not show, but that's how it has to be sometimes. Alright, I'm going to add adhesive on this flap. And I'll go ahead and put this right up on that score line. Now why is that not working? And I'm going to ink the edges just because there's some glue, and so you don't see that. Okay, and then I'm also going to add a bit of score tape to the bottom. And I guess I could put it on the side, but I'm going to just adhere it with glue. Pull off that score tape before I do anything. Grab my little folio. So one side will go in there, and the other side will just fold over, and it'll hit the other part of the hinge. push that up against there. And then this against that side. And of course we've got that score tape on the bottom. That's going to create a pocket. Let's burnish this real well. I put this side next to the sunflowers over here, even though are bright and colorful, and boy, you actually could color them. So now I'm going to decorate it, and then I'll show you what I've ended up with. Okay, so we've already done the walkthrough, so you've seen the project, and that is week's 2 project for hashtag Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022. I hope you enjoyed this. I will put a link to the video that I originally got the inspiration from, but as anything, you make it your own once you do it. Don't forget to share yours if you make something. We'd love to see it. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching and have a fabulous day.